Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to support and to thank the chairman, knowing very well pursuant to Section 25, we always have to receive, of the PFM Act, we always have to receive the PBS. And it also sets our strategic priorities, Mr. Speaker. And when I look at it, I realize the government has set 5 core pillars in agriculture and inclusive of growth, small and micro medium enterprise, digital superhighway, creative industry, housing, and healthcare. Mr. Speaker, having said that, is that when I look at now how the votes have been put through, and you realize that, yes, we also had the Hustler Fund, we also know it benefited, or it's benefiting 21, but it's important for them now, for government to do an assessment so that we understand whether indeed it is now impacting lives, especially to people in informal sectors. Mr. Speaker, when we talk of now the issue of pending bills, which I would have wished, because everything else, Mr. Speaker, Chairman has did what he can based on what the executive has brought in. But then when we are trying to implement policies that can mitigate the negatives that we have, then one of the negatives that we must be talking about is how do we deal with pending bills that right now many of our contractors, many of our suppliers are even wondering. So even as much as we want to move forward, we shall always have that animal biting us. And it is within this house that we must come up with a solution that will help the executive to understand, Mr. Speaker, that it is time to pay Kenyans who supplied to us government, who went and took loans, and right now some of them are just collapsing because their properties are being taken and many other things. And yet when we give the monies to county governments, they are not paying, they won't pay. And so we must come up with a framework, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I look at the votes, and I realize we have taken now health, as I said, then it is important for us to ensure we increase what is needed for health instead of decreasing. We also have said we would want to see education. We have indeed enhanced, yes, but you realize defense is taking more than even education. So it is something we have to look at. But the most important thing, these are the votes. We want to now see the appropriation. As I thank my chair for ensuring the constituency has been enhanced, but then at the same time, we have to be very wary so that we are not also blamed by Kenyans as they look at this budget and think it's a budget of the National Assembly members. We have to ensure it is going, and we must create an awareness that it is going to enhance, not because of members of National Assembly, but of course of Kenyans and the citizens. Mr. Speaker, there is one thing I want us to all of us agree, that as much as we are doing this, remember, we also need to also go back and ask ourselves, yes, I know we will come, we will discuss, but is it important for us to rethink? Can we remove taxes and increase VAT for us to see Kenyans have a breather? Because it is us. We were given this opportunity by Kenyans to deal with budgets, to deal with financials, and it is us to come up with a solution. Because right now, as much as we are doing all this, let us remember the excise duties that we have put in, even in our own offices. Right now you find staff are crying because what they are supposed to pay for NHIF, what they are supposed to pay for even the funds that we have increased, KRA has increased, it is something we have to look at. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I support, I am saying it is important we look to all the excise duties we imposed on Kenyans so that we clean, and so that when we go out there, we are not again hit again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hear the Honorable Kangogo asking I have how many minutes. I think I have only 5 minutes.
5 like everybody else.
So you would rather allow me to save my time. Let me first thank the